We will go fast. So this will be all the security you need to know in like 5 minutes. Yeah, you won't feel safe. No, you won't feel safe after this one. But we're going to talk about, Randy and I are going to talk about password management. And so some of you may have heard me talk about this before. As some of you know, this is a soapbox topic for Mike. So I want to start off talking about password habits. The reality is the world has changed from even a few years ago where you used to have your work password and your home password and you had maybe 2 or 3 and it was all easy to keep them together. That's not the case anymore. The amount of passwords everyone has to know has changed as the internet has grown. On average, even your kind of non-techie, non-online person still averages about 20 to 25 passwords that they need to know on a daily basis. It's a lot. The problem is, of course, the hackers are gotten a lot better about getting your password. So you have problems if, before you used to be like, oh, passwords aren't too bad, I'll just use cat. Well, as the hackers got better, services wouldn't let you use cat, so you had to use kitty cat. And of course, then the hackers got better at that. And so simple passwords aren't really an option anymore either. The hackers will get you. Same passwords. We used to have the luxury of, oh, I have one password for everything. Isn't that great? It was, and now it's not. So some password truce is a password is only as good as it takes to crack it. So depending on your password, that's the only value it has, because hackers are lazy. They're going to try to get in, and if they will try for only so long and they'll move on. So your objective is to make yourself a difficult target. It's sort of like when you and your friend are running through the woods and the bear is chasing you. You don't have to be faster than the bear. Sadly, you have to be faster than your friend. Brute force is getting better. I mean, the hackers, it's a constant battle. As the hackers get smarter, then we get smarter, and then they get smarter, and we get smarter. And nobody is immune. If you have policies, and even me, as I sit here and talk about how awesome I am with my security score and whatnot, I'm not immune. The only thing you can hope to achieve is to make yourself a difficult target. And password policies are not always the answer. You deal with a lot of things like with Amazon and different accounts. They want you to have this many letters and this many numbers. That isn't always the best because it actually in some cases might limit you. And when we talk a little bit about some of the things that I do, I'll explain that a little more in depth. So one thing you can do in this scary online world is you can use passphrases instead of words. So like I used kitty cat before. You could do something cool with like, say the lion sleeps tonight, changing, making capital letters, changing the E to a 3, adding in an exclamation point, and make it a passphrase. That, of course, will help, but again, it's not ultimate. You also want to use different passwords for all your accounts. So each account, it'd be good if you used a different password so you don't suffer from what I like to call the domino effect, where if they get one password, say your email, now they have them all because now they can go through and reset all your accounts and check your email at all the different places and take more than just the one account. So you want to use a different password. And even better, it's better if you randomize your password. So it's not even a passphrase. It is just a long string of junk. The problem with that is that's a lot of work. That is just not humanly possible to retain that much information in your head. But that's where a password manager comes in. A password manager will remember your passwords. So it will retain all these passwords for you. So as you make them different, be it passphrase or random, it will store them for you. That takes a lot of load off your brain. It will remember your accounts. What's interesting is, like I said, the average person has about 25 accounts they have to remember. That number is actually very low. I think mine is about 130 accounts. And what's awesome about that is before a password manager, I would sign up. You sign up for that one account so you can download that one thing that one time and you forget it's there. Well, if it gets hacked, if you're not practicing good password policies, that one isn't secure, it gets hacked. Now they could potentially do a domino effect. So it helps you audit your accounts. It helps you keep track of all your online accounts. It also lets you generate those random passwords. And this is something that it took me a lot of arguing with my wife to get her to adapt to this random password thing. She's like, what if I don't know it? Well, that's actually nice. When I go to sign up for a new account, I don't have to spend the 10 minutes like, oh, what password should I use? What did I use last time? Can I just put a 1 behind it? No, I just generate one. And I usually go for 20 plus characters. And what's nice is, depending on the password manager you choose, a lot of them will authenticate for you. So you really don't need to know the password at all. You'll go to the website, and some password managers, such as the one Randy and I are going to talk about in a little bit, will actually fill the information in for you using a browser plugin. And there's extra security in that as well, because as Firefox and Chrome will offer to save your passwords for you, that's great. However, I don't consider them a good password manager, because if a hacker comes in, where's one of the first places they're going to go for? Your browser cache. And having your password manager as a third party outside your browser cache creates another barrier for them to have to get through. Okay? So some extra security and benefits of password managers I talked a little bit about. They encrypt your password data. Most good password managers will encrypt it for you. Most of them will also secure it from the vendor. So depending on the service you have, the vendor still won't be able to get to it. You can also discuss online versus offline. The one I was talking about, which Randy will talk a little bit more about LastPass, is a nice online cloud solution. So you kind of have your password manager on all your devices. But for those of you, Terry, who are paranoid about the online world, there's a really good offline one that we're going to talk about too if you're not comfortable with your passwords being in the cloud. Two-factor authentication. All right, I'm going to ask a question. Who here knows what two-factor authentication is? Okay. Two-factor authentication is great for a password manager. It's something I would strive for. Because what it means is when you sign into your account, you have to know your username and password, but you also have to pull a code, a security code that's generated after so many seconds off like your cell phone. So if a hacker did get your username and password, they would still need your phone or your device to actually log in. It will prompt for that security code. And that security code changes every few seconds. And if you're going to do a password manager, I would highly recommend this. Because if someone did manage to hack your password manager, they have literally gotten the keys to the kingdom. So two-factor authentication, in my opinion, is a must. And what I love about LastPass too is, or other password managers, is LastPass will also do security checks. And I use that one because it's my favorite. But it will literally scan through your accounts and your online accounts and your online passwords, and it will compare that to known hacks, such as like Home Depot or Target. And it will tell you if you're compromised or if you should consider changing your password, and it will give you a score. I'm sadly only at 95%. So I know. Well, I have some other passwords, like I'm kind of my mom's password manager too, so. All right, so I'm going to turn this over to Randy.
Okay. Mike talked a lot about the security features and in and outs of how they work, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the other benefits. Before. Yep. It is.
Yes, I've confirmed it's on.
I confirmed it. Is it on now?
Can you hear him now, Terry?
Can you hear me now? Ah, excellent. Okay, so I was going to talk about some of the other benefits of password managers. Now, before I start, I wanted to go in a little bit about why I hadn't used one for a long time, even though I knew it was something that had a lot of benefits. There are a lot of things people know they should do that are hard to do consistently. You know, exercising, eating right, being organized. In my mind, I had kind of lumped password managers in with those things. It's, well, you know, it's good enough what I'm doing now, and it's kind of a hassle, and it's maybe expensive or whatever. So I've been using LastPass Enterprise at work now for a couple months, and I was both right and wrong. Right because it's definitely something you should be doing, and wrong because it is so easy and it makes your life so much easier. I probably manage about 50 passwords at work that I log into all the time. Obviously that's not anywhere near where Mike is, but it's still a lot for me because with Mike being my guru, I know I'm not supposed to use the same password for everything. I've seen his talk about the domino effect. So I didn't use the same password for everything, but I'm also the kind of guy who every morning has trouble remembering where I put my keys. And so my passwords tended to have a strong family resemblance. So they'd be similar to each other. And I'd find that I kind of had the worst of both worlds. So I had passwords that were very similar to each other, but that I couldn't remember, because like this one, did I do the capital letters on this one? Did they add extra characters on that one? So it was really a pain. So I went to LastPass Enterprise, and I can say it has been incredible. I mean, I love it more than I love my new iPhone. Okay, no, that's not true. I love my iPhone more than anything, even probably my children. But if I had to rank it, it's probably iPhone, children, LastPass. And it depends on, some days it's iPhone, LastPass, children, depending on how they've been behaving. It has been great. And I want to talk now about some of the things, why I like it so much. Okay, it is easy. Like Mike was saying, it is easy to generate passwords. You don't have to remember it anymore. But even more than that, like with LastPass, and I use Dashlane at home and I use LastPass at work. When you log in, you come to a single spot. Now, we had thought about actually showing how it works on here, but unlike Cheryl, we don't want to share our personal information on a videotape thing. So we're just going to have to describe it for you. You come to a password vault where it has every single site you've entered in. So when I want to go to a particular site, I just click on it. It auto logs me in. So one click to get any site I want to. Now, there are some sites where it maybe takes 2 or 3. But it's a really easy way to get to those sites. It's an easy way to capture sites, like Mike was saying. Sometimes when you create an account, you have to remember it when you're doing it on keeping track of things in paper. But on here, it just captures it for you automatically. You never have to worry about it again. It is extremely easy. Okay? It's in the cloud. Unlike Terry, we believe strongly in the cloud. Currently, before we used LastPass, we kept our passwords in a binder in the library, which is great. It's a secure location. I mean, it's locked up. We didn't have to worry about it too much, but it's inconvenient. If you're in the library, you still have to get over there. You want to log into someone, you have to grab the binder, take it back to your desk, type in the stuff. It's a pain. And even worse, if you're at a conference or at a class or somewhere where you need to get it, you can't do it. With LastPass, it's in the cloud. It's secure. As Mike said, even the vendor, if they have a rogue employee, they can't get at your passwords. So I'm not too worried about having it out there, and it makes life a lot more convenient. Sharing. There are a number of passwords at my work that multiple people need to know. Now, maybe I use it primarily, logging into the WordPress or logging into our routers or copier or things like that. But if I'm not there, and sometimes other people want to use them, in LastPass, I can set up a folder and I can share these passwords with people. And LastPass also allows you to control the amount of sharing you do. I can share a password with someone but not let them see it. I can share a password with someone, not let them change it. So they can click on it and get into the site, but they don't have the ability to change it or see it. Or I can let them have full control. So it's very handy in these work situations where you have maybe one key employee who knows these accounts, but then you can have a backup in case he's ever gone or whatever. Other stuff. LastPass and some other password managers can't capture every password. For instance, when you're using Horizon over Citrix, because it's inside that tunnel, it can't do that. But in LastPass or other managers, you can create what's called secure notes. So I can note information or upload documents or store things and keep that securely. There's also situations where on our public machines, like the deep freeze password or things like that, I don't want to go out to a public machine and type in my secure LastPass password where people are watching, but I can keep track of them in here in case I need a memory refresher when I'm going out to use them. So you can secure other stuff too.
So is this attached to your email account? So if you have more than one email account that you're using, you have 2 different?
Yep, you can click multiple. So like when I log into Gmail at work, there's a standard library one and my one, I have a personal one. And so when I can log into directly from within that vault, or if I've got to Gmail directly, LastPass puts a little icon in the login field, and I click on that, and it shows me every single login I have. And I click on the one I want, and boom, I'm in. So it handles multiple accounts pretty easily. Filling out forms, those of you who do purchasing. You can set up profiles in these password managers and fill in things like credit card info and all that stuff. You never have to fill in fields again when you're shopping. It auto-fills in everything, and it's really accurate. I've used both Dashlane and LastPass, and it saves you a ton of time. Okay. Lastly, with many of these accounts, I know LastPass and Dashlane, you can integrate your personal and professional ones, so you can have them in the same spot, in the same vault, although your coworkers will not have access to your personal one. So it just makes it pretty easy to get those together. Okay. So when we were looking to prepare this, I looked at a number of reviews from a variety of sites, and 3 names kept coming up over and over again: Dashlane, LastPass, and RoboForm. There are a lot of password managers out there. These 3 got consistently high reviews. We also included KeePass because it's open source and it doesn't store things in the cloud. And it also has good reviews, but a lot of people find it more complicated to use, but it still is a very good product. And I said you can Google, password manager reviews, but any of these 4 products, I think you'd be well off using. And as for which one to use, they offer a lot of similar features, and I think in the end, it comes down to ease of use, usability for you, price, whether you like the cloud or not, whether you need that sharing. For me, I went with Dashlane at home simply because I like their interface a lot. I like some of the other things they do as far as when I make a purchase in Dashlane, it'll store the receipt for me automatically, so I don't have to worry about going into my email account to get receipts. And even though it's the most expensive, $40 a year, that's $3 a month. If you're the kind of person that has to manage 50 accounts, you probably have enough money for $3 a month for this thing. And it saves you so much time. And then LastPass, $12 a year. These products pretty much all have free versions you can try out. They have limit in some ways, limit the number of accounts or limit the number of devices you can use it on, but you can see and learn the interface and see what you like. I would say, in conclusion, there is no one password manager that's probably right for everyone, but I would bet almost everybody could benefit from using one of these things. They make your life much easier. So that's it. Oh, any questions? Besides, can we go to lunch now?
All right.
So.
Cool.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Mike. And that puts us at the end of our agenda. Thank God, because I just totally lost my battery pack for my microphone. So, thank you for coming out today for Technology Users Group. The next one will be in May.